Is a weighted vest a good idea if you have prolapse or pelvic floor dysfunction? Hello, my name is June Melia. I've been a certified personal trainer for 25 years, and I have a prolapse. About maybe a year ago, I got swept up in the craze, the weighted vest craze, and this one I think is something like, I think this is 10 pounds-ish. And I was about a year into my obvious prolapse issue. I had rehabbed it well enough where I could go out and I could do some jogging. I was back into running again a little bit. And all of the information on weighted vests just sounded so good. It sounded like I didn't want to miss out. I'm a fitness enthusiast, and I love trying new things, trying new fitness stuff. So I went ahead and I got myself the weighted vest, and I wore it. I wore it for maybe a week, and that's about all I could take because it exacerbated my issues pretty badly. This was a slip up for me. I have a 5-mile loop that I like to do, and I used to run the whole thing, and then I had prolapse issues, so I started to do some walk running instead of running the whole thing. So I still do the 5 miles, but I'll walk the first mile, and then I'll intersect some jogging and walking and jogging and walking. And I did not jog with the weighted vest on, but what I did do is go out for that 5 miles. This might have been a rookie mistake. I went out for 5 miles with the weighted vest on, and it's only, you know what, I think it's 8 pounds. I'm pretty sure it's 8 pounds, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. And I could feel pressure pretty much right away. And if you have prolapse, you know that feeling of pressure is like, it's if you feel almost like you're pregnant again, like heavy pregnant, where everything is like siphoning down into your pelvis, like into the lowest part of your pelvis. And you literally feel like you've got to clench in order to keep everything in. It's like this illusionary feeling, like your organs are not going to fall out, but it feels like they are. And so even when I took the vest off, I would still feel that sensation down there, and it's very unnerving. And when you get that sensation, you actually feel like you want to clench more while you're just around doing your day-to-day activities. What ends up happening is you end up tighter. And if you don't already know this, the issues a lot of times with your pelvic floor, it's not just about your pelvic floor just being like loose. It's also a tightness. It's really wound. Things get really wound. And so everything is tight. And that's one thing that people don't really know about prolapse, is that it's not just like everything's just loose and weak. Everything's tight and weak. So everything down there is like squeezing. And I know I would notice that in myself. That to say, when I wore the weighted vest for that 1 or 2 weeks, maybe twice a week I wore it, I felt that so much more, so much worse, not just when I had it on, but also like just when I was living my life, I could feel the residual effects of the tightening of my pelvic floor. And this isn't a strengthening, this is a tightening. And those are two different things when you're dealing with pelvic floor dysfunction and prolapse. It's not a strengthening, it's actually more like a protective mechanism that you clench just because you're so guarded. And it's like a loop where you end up, you're guarding and you're getting weaker and you're guarding. So it's like tightening a rubber band, and everything's just getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. And it's a protective mechanism and it's a guarding mechanism, and it's no good. So I wore the vest a handful of times, and that was that. And I decided that it wasn't worth it for me. Now, I will say a couple things that you want to keep in mind. A couple things that if I had known then what I know now, I might have changed my mind a little bit. You can get belts that have little blocks. I think my husband has one over there. But you can have little weights that you can pull out. So say you start with 5% of your body weight, you would need to take out all the bricks, all the little slots of weights, and you would just take them out and you would weigh your vest and make sure that it's really low. So I would say if I were gonna do it again, if I was like, okay, I feel like my prolapse is really good now, I'm gonna try it again, I would probably start with 5 pounds and do that for a month, and then add in, and then do that for a month, and then add in, and then add the weights back in and do that for a month until I got up to about 10% of my body weight. And I probably wouldn't do any more than that. Now, I know that when you have prolapse, you're also worried about bone density, because if you're rehabbing a prolapse, you also are concerned because you're not running. You may not be lifting heavy anymore. You jumping, all those things that are so good for our bones end up, it feels like, off the table. And I know how worrying that is. But with how I felt with this on, I wouldn't do that again. So if you are going to try a vest, you need to start super light. You need to start with a handful of pounds. It may seem silly, 5 pounds, what's the big deal? That's where I would start. And I would get a belt that you can add the weights in or take the weights out so that you have a lot more control over what you can do. Now, those vests are a lot more expensive, so there's that. Like, I think I spent $30 on this, which felt totally reasonable to me, especially if I could wear it all the time. I was hoping I would be able to go out twice a week, do my 5 miles with the vest on, but I couldn't. So it was a waste of money. I should give it to a friend. And if I was going to rebuy it, like I said, I would get one that I have a little more ability to add or subtract to the weights so that I could play around with the variables a little bit more, and maybe it would have been easier for me. That's what I think. Let me know what you think. Do you have a prolapse and you found a weighted vest that you really like? Have you had issues with a weighted vest with a prolapse? Are there any tips or tricks? Looking back, maybe the 5 miles wasn't so smart out of the gate. Maybe I should have just done like my little neighborhood mile loop a few times first. So that's something that maybe I did incorrectly. I like too much too soon kind of thing, and I could have taken my time. So that is it for me. Just be careful and just start really light, almost stupid light, almost like ridiculously light. Because my motto is, I would rather finish the workout feeling like I could have done more rather than finish the workout and feel like I regretted the workout because I did too much when you're dealing with an injury. Okay, so that is it for me. If you have any questions, I would love it if you would post them below. If you have any suggestions, if you have a weighted vest that you really love, post it below. Maybe in the summer, maybe I'll try it again, but with a weighted vest that adds and subtracts the weight so that I have a little more ability to be adjustable. That's it for me. My name's June, and I hope to see you in the next video. Talk to you soon. Bye.